we're here still in May. We're talking to Mr. Stratton Goins and Misty White. How are you guys today?
Good.
Good.
Hope you are.
Oh yeah. Just trying to get through kind of it ain't really a difficult market, but it's a different market for sure. I personally had more going on last year this time than I do now, but you guys are rocking and rolling.
See, I'm the opposite.
With two rock stars here. What you had last year?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I have more going on this year.
Yeah.
So
well, that's good.
that's a blessing.
That's a good feeling,
That's a blessing, yes.
We'll talk about a few things. What got y'all into the wonderful world of real estate career? Because either one of you guys, it wasn't me. You know, y'all came to Hepler Realty. So I'll start with Misty. What got you into this?
I liked helping people, and I did teaching. So, and I don't know. I guess I just got burned out with teaching, but I still like helping people, and so I thought, hey, I can help people buy their forever home, sell their home, whatever, and that's what did it for me. I mean,
what'd you teach?
High school math.
That's why we brought Misty White on to do math here at Hepler Realty, so to kind of continue our math of all finances and all that kind of stuff. That's why she said, no, I'm just joking.
She's the numbers lady.
That's right.
Lots of numbers.
She's the numbers. That's right.
Lots of sales numbers too.
What do you? How do you feel right now on career versus career?
I should have done it earlier.
Ah, okay. All right.
I should have quit teaching a lot earlier.
Really?
No offense to the educators, because
absolutely.
Y'all are busting it right now. But I know I had to be out of that. I had to take myself out of that situation.
Right.
Because it was rough. I mean, I talked to my mother last night. She said, honey, I'm so glad you're happy. I can tell you're much happier in real estate than you were teaching. And she's right. I am. Yeah, I am.
That's good to hear. As a broker.
Could tell.
Yeah. That's great to hear as an agent. The agent here is happier now than a past career. That's really
for sure.
Makes me feel good anyway.
Nathan, if your mother called you, would she say that you're happier? I'm not going to answer for myself on that question.
She probably would. I would say so. My dad would say I had to find something to talk a lot with. So that's
there you go.
Yeah. I would say she would say that. Yeah. So you like real estate a little bit more than
I love it.
Teaching.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, I love it. I do. I love it because I had a passion for helping kids learn math, and now have a passion for helping people find their forever home or listing their property, to move to the next location.
Yeah.
So I love it.
Next part of their
I
life.
love helping people. Yep.
That's great. That's great.
I love it.
And you've been in it a while now. You've been in it, let's see here, is it 6 years?
Yeah, this is 6 years because I got my license in 2019. Yep.
Right before COVID.
Yes.
You picked a great time.
I did, yeah.
Almost as bad as me. I picked right before the market crash, 2 years before, when I was like, oh, this is a great career to start, and then the market crashed in 08, so it was like, okay.
So you got yours in 2006?
2006 license, and then 08 hit, and I thought, what in the world did I just do? Because I had a pretty good job. Thomas Bus, most people know that. Thomas Bus, been there, I was there 15 and a half years total. But then, and then I quit, and then, the market crashes, and everybody's like, you're kind of dumb, But, you live, you learn, you work through stuff. But, so what about you, Stratton?
Well, let's see. I came here probably in 2016-ish.
That's about right.
15 or 16. I think I got licensed in 14 or 15. Was at another firm for a short period of time and then came here. But really got licensed from an investment standpoint. Had some rental properties and wanted to learn that just a little bit more. So didn't really anticipate selling real estate, but it just worked out that way. I enjoy it. I love it, really. It's been great for our family, for me as a career. A lot of flexibility, a lot of hours, but, worked out good. So
yeah, you do work a lot of hours, that's for sure. I see it. Not a lot of people see it, but yeah, you put the hours in, that's for sure. What do you think? Well, let's just compare it to something that you did before this. What do you think hour-wise, dollar for hour, so to speak? Do you think it's better, worse, the same?
It's probably, this is definitely more lucrative, but I mean, I've worked a lot of different jobs. I've worked for myself, worked in manufacturing. I just don't like punching the clock.
Yeah.
You know, I hated that. So you definitely don't have to punch a clock here, but to your point on
Maybe we should get one and
Yeah.
like Stratton feel at home.
I mean, if it's you know, you said you're a little slow right now, and we've had a really good spring, but it just ebbs and flows. You know, it's feast or famine. But once you're in it for a while, it does even out some. I mean, you know, you might have 10 transactions versus 2, but you usually always have something going on, and that's good.
I think that's probably. I think I've told a few people here, you know, it's what you put your time into. Obviously, this room that we're sitting in, you know, took away, you know, a little bit of time that I could have been pushing, hustling, you know. So now it's back, and since we've got this going, and
Well, we talked about this for a while.
a little
And,
while.
You know, I thought it would be a great idea. Hopefully, we'll do some more longer form podcasts and stuff
Absolutely.
and have some guests on here. But I thought, you know, it would be neat to have. Maybe you could rent it out, get some sponsors. We don't have any sponsors yet. So if you want to sponsor the Hepler Realty podcast, you can.
Yeah.
I'm sure
Contact
Nathan will
us.
take your money.
That's right.
You know.
Yeah,
Yes, he
we
will.
can do it. However, whatever form you guys want to sponsor us,
Yeah.
we will take.
So we're always for hire. You have put a lot of time into it. So I think it looks great, and hopefully we'll get some good use out of it.
I think so.
You're the only one that knows how to work the equipment, so you'll have to be in here for all of these. But
Oh, you're going to learn.
yeah,
You're
I'll learn it
going to
one day.
learn. You're going to learn.
So turn the cameras off, which I asked Nathan to do already, but he didn't do it.
Oh, you have to be on. You have to be on. Stratton's our, you know, kind of our commercial too, like commercial guy. Definitely does more commercial than I do. I don't know how he got into that. I don't know if you remember how you got into commercial, but it's definitely something that I thought, wow, you know, he's actually really good at commercial land, commercial, you know, as far as buildings and stuff. What do you think about the commercial career part of having a license?
Well, you know, I've always liked the business to business sales aspect. You're dealing with a lot of investors and business owners and things like that. Some of the properties that I have are commercial, like retail lease type space. I don't remember my first commercial deal, to be honest with you. I don't know for sure, but a lot of light industrial, some land development, things like that. It's not quite as emotional as residential sales,
Oh, that's interesting
So,
to hear. Yeah, I
yeah.
can see that. I can see that.
but I do enjoy it and done a fair amount of that. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have, and it surprised me. Like I said, it surprised me. I don't think I've ever told you that, but it surprised me how much commercial, if you look back at sales, you know, which we do, and we kind of carry our sales on different things just to make sure we're in the right direction. And it's like, wow, this is quite a bit of commercial real estate that we've done. And it's like, you know, I know that I wasn't a part of it. So I was like, who in the world sold all this commercial stuff? It's like always Stratton. That's
Yeah.
good. I mean, it's awesome.
Yeah, he's the go-to.
He is. He is.
And that was one thing attracted me to coming here, you know, is being a full service firm, which I think we didn't really do commercial when I first started, but you did property management. And having that along with residential sales and now commercial too.
Yeah.
It can be a one-stop shop for clients, but it can also be a way to kind of diversify ourselves, our knowledge base, and our income. You know, so I think that's good.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what I wanted to, you know, create here years ago was, you know, just a different, not just one type of real estate, even for sales. The property management, I think me and you have talked a lot about that. It's like, you know, it's kind of a hit and miss. Sometimes it's kind of a hate-love relationship on property management.
It is love-hate. It's a lot of work,
yeah.
and it's a lot of headache.
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of headache, and maybe not quite as much. I hate to say, you know, income, but at the same time, reward, I guess, is really what I need to say. The reward is really not as high as some of the sales that we've all seen. So it's kind of like, all right, I've spent, you know, 900 hours in this month for property management, and this is the reward. It's like, why do we even do it? But it is part of the firm. It actually did get me through probably 08, 09, along with some BPOs. That's kind of what got the firm through. So, you know.
Well, it's a great way to, yeah, and I think it's a great way to meet investors. And obviously, I think you have some investment property as well. I know I do. And that's one of the reasons that it just incorporates well. I mean, I'm going to manage my own. You're going to manage your own.
I'm going to manage it, yeah.
Manage some friends and family, and next thing you know, you're in property management.
Yeah.
Especially if you work with some investors, they want you to manage it as well. So because you've never really advertised for it, right?
I really haven't.
Yeah.
Not really at all. No video on it.
Yeah.
No signs. No, I mean, other than what we've got for rent, we put a sign on the ground. But
Yeah.
now we're up to like 100 and I think we're at 173 or 4. I mean, it's like how in the world do we get that?
And not everybody in the office does property management, which is fine. But I know there's me and you and a couple of us that do it. I think it's a good way to kind of even it out a little bit.
Yeah.
If you don't mind the headache of it.
The headache, yeah. Yeah, and we've got, every once in a while I'll see an agent here that's, buying or now we got Misty that's buying a bigger house. We're going to talk her. She don't know it yet, but we're going to talk her into renting her old house somehow. What do you, Misty, what do you think you've learned in the past 6 years on real estate that got you comfortable enough to purchase something else and, kind of move along with the real estate world as far as bigger and better and more square footage? We're not going to tell you where. We're not going to tell your address or anything like that. But
it's a mansion.
No,
it has a pool.
It's pretty fat. Yeah. I'm impressed. I'm impressed. You ought to be proud.
Real estate helped with that.
Real estate helped.
Real estate helped. Yeah, it was not teaching real estate. That's real estate is how I was able to put my oldest through college because it was not teaching. Teaching just paid the bills. It did not help me save at all.
That is what I hear a lot of. Yeah.
Yeah.
It kind of gets you over just getting by and paying,
Yes.
as far as real estate does.
But everywhere you go is an opportunity to meet somebody that
It
doesn't
is.
know about. Hey, you sell real estate. They don't know that, so you got to make that happen.
Right.
So everywhere I go, hey, how are you? Just I'm not pushy, so I don't push myself on people. I'm not like that. But
yeah. I'd see that. I
But
agree
my
with that.
last listing I got is from somebody I knew.
Okay.
They told somebody I knew
Somebody
at a coffee
else.
shop.
Yep.
Told somebody else, and that's how they contacted me. So
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I don't do leads, so.
Yeah, we don't. I mean, some of us pay here and there for leads, but it's been probably 90% for me, on past business and referrals and that kind of thing. What do you think, Misty? What do you think the next 5-year span is gonna? What does it look like for you in the real estate world? Hopefully,
I hope
I'm putting you on the
keep
spot.
it on, keep it
yeah,
on. Yeah,
since you're
I hope
in
it's
Hepler Realty in the
motivated.
studio, hopefully you're not gonna be like, well, I'm going to quit next week. No, hopefully
No,
not.
not at all.
I'm planning on leaving now.
No, definitely not. No,
Okay.
I'm like, now when I wake up, I'm so motivated to go to work. And
Oh, that's good to hear.
I don't mean
Yeah.
that. I don't mean anything against teachers, but when I taught, I was not motivated to go to work. I was like,
Yeah.
just the dread of going to work on Monday. And now it's not like that at all. I'm like, yes, I get to do this
Yeah.
today. So
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
So I'm excited. See what happens.
Stratton, what motivates you to get up other than your 3 kids that are needing presents?
Let's
and,
just say here
food?
soon, out of the 3 of us, only one of us does not have a pool. So I just want to point that out.
This is true.
I just
This
want to
is
point
true.
that out. But yeah, I mean, I've worked by.
You don't have a pool yet.
Yet.
Yeah.
It's coming.
Yeah.
It's
I can
coming.
go dig
I'm
a
gonna
mud
go
hole.
talk to your wife right quick.
Been raining for like 5 days. So, but I think, I've worked by the hour, worked, like I said, by the job, which is, basically what we're doing here. But income can be a great motivator. And I know at teaching, obviously, and a lot of things that I've done in the past, you don't get paid anymore if you work any harder.
Yeah.
That's
And
right.
that's super,
100%.
super aggravating. So,
I would say that. I would say that that's some. If somebody's listening that is thinking about the real estate career, I think that is something that I've seen both on the negative side with people that's here that may have been here in the past that didn't want to work, more than 40 hours, and then the people kind of like us that it's like we kind of figured out already that we know what it takes. Like it's not going to be like, all right, I'm going to shut my phone down at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. That's
Yeah.
That's a
unfortunate.
no-no.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's just not part of it. I wish it was kind of, but
yep.
Stratton, what do you think in the next 5 years? Where you going to be in real estate? And again, hopefully, you're not going to say anything that I don't know. Well, I've got this plan.
You don't think now's a great time to
It's
break
not
it
a
to
good
and I'm starting my own firm?
Oh my God! Boys.
No, hopefully I'll be here. Hopefully we'll grow and expand. And I
Yes.
think real estate as a market North Carolina's a really big influx state from people moving here. It has been since before COVID. but especially during COVID. So our population continues to grow, and we're right in between basically Charlotte and Raleigh. A lot of great interstate systems here. We have a lot of people that are in our market that commute back and forth to those areas, but there's a lot of development happening here too. A lot of commercial development. So and residential development, which follows, obviously. So I think it's going to continue to expand and grow, and hopefully the prices don't go up too much.
Yeah.
But it's a great place to live and work and raise a family. I've certainly enjoyed it. I don't know anywhere else. Maybe there's one or two places, but that I'd rather live.
Yeah.
So,
unless you've got some kind of water or ocean in front of
yeah,
you.
if I've
right?
got an ocean or something like that,
It tends to be a little more expensive there. So,
but don't
yeah,
drag me
yeah.
out to Phoenix or anything like that. I can't imagine living. I mean, I know it's never actually been there, but out in the middle of a desert. But we've got mountains 2 hours away, a coast 3 hours away, and a lot of great things to do right here. So
That's true.
Yes.
That is true. Misty, what do you think your favorite type of real estate? I mean, probably residential is what you've done the most of, but buyer, seller, listing. What do you think?
Definitely listings.
Definitely listings.
Yeah, because I like doing the social media, and
Yeah.
and yeah, I just like that. I don't know.
Yeah,
Once I
that's-
learned it, I thought I'm going to use this. So
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
I think you probably have you've kind of got the bite of me, like too. It's like you like creating things, and then watching the showing time. Maybe an appointment happened. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, I
Yes.
put that on, and now
Yes.
it's getting showed, and
That-
maybe an
yeah.
offer.
Exactly. Yeah.
I like that. I like that as well.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like helping buyers too, but
Yeah.
I think my favorite, if I had to choose it, it'd definitely be like listing side.
Yeah, listing on residential. Stratton, what about you? What do you think the most favorite of real estate?
I
is?
really like land development. I've done a lot of that.
You have done a lot of that, actually.
I like land development, and I actually kind of hate to see it happen. I like to keep land together, but not a lot of agents do a lot of vacant land
They really don't.
or land development. But going through the rezoning process or special use process, or just subdividing, getting it utilities and stuff put in. There's a lot that goes into that. Not everybody gets to do, but I think that's rewarding. I like that. So that's probably one of my favorites.
Yeah. I could see that. You're good at it. There's a lot of things that a lot of agents don't know about, splitting up land or developing. So, I mean, I think you do a great job with that. Sometimes I'm looking back at, what you've done to kind of make sure that I'm still on track and know, because, I mean, you've done more than me, that's for sure, as far as land. I think mine would probably be listings on we'll call it clean house, and that's not like anything to do with how clean they are on the inside. It's a clean house as far as, let's just say it's 10 years old or less, and there's not a whole lot of repairs. Have y'all dealt with repairs like I've dealt with lately? What is y'all's, let's just say your last couple of transactions, what is your challenges, Misty, that you see a lot of in the last year or two recent? What is your challenges?
Getting someone to show up.
Oh, okay.
You call, somebody. Hey,
For repairs then.
Yep,
okay.
for repairs. Yeah. Or I'd say that. Yeah.
I could see that. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's always been kind of an issue.
That and in the past, I'm gonna say 2 months, appraisals coming in low.
Coming in.
Yeah. Where I was one side, I was on the buying side, the other side I was on the listing side.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I've had.
But they use lenders that were not local.
Oh, that's a big
So
deal. Yeah.
That's a big deal. Yeah.
That's a
was
big
issue.
problem, or it can be a big problem. I've had 2 appraisals not to come in the last probably 6 months that I thought was a little bit odd. But Stratton, what is yours? I mean, is it like is your biggest struggle to get every agent out of your way so you can sell more, or what's like get out of my way so I can sell this house?
I mean, it's every transaction I think is a little different. Every buyer wants something different.
Yeah.
Depending on their lifestyle. A lot of first-time home buyers don't have a great grasp on what they really want.
That's a good point.
They want to max out their budget a lot of times. So if they are approved for $350, they want to buy a 350. I don't always recommend that. We love our home inspectors, but they get scared by home inspections, and that's part of our job is to walk
Get
them
them
through
off the
that.
ledge. Yeah.
And we do that, of course. And then on the listing side, you have some buyers, some agents, whoever it may be, that they'll see that a home inspection has the HVAC and the roof, and all those systems are working fine, but they're older, and they'll want credits for upgrades, and they'll want them to be replaced, and that's just not realistic for most sellers to do, and it's
Yeah.
not really something that we expect them to do, to be honest. I mean, if a heating and air system is working correctly and it's just old, they're probably not going to replace that. And they're probably not going to
Right.
give you $5,000 to replace it in 3 years when it goes out. But it's something that the buyer needs to be aware of, and that's the reason it's on the report.
Yeah.
So, I think that's important. But on the buyer side, of course, you don't want to move in there in week one and your heating and air go out. That's never good.
That's
So,
true.
Sometimes we can mitigate that with a home warranty, but it's just part of home ownership. Home ownership, you have something that is going to require maintenance, just like a vehicle. It's just something that we have to prepare buyers for, especially first-time home buyers. Somebody who's
Yeah.
owned a home, they know that already, but first-time home buyers, like I said, they want to max out their budget, and they don't always take into consideration the maintenance and upkeep that comes along with it. So
Yeah. Yeah. Misty, if you had a new buyer in front of you or that may be listening to this, what would you give them as far as advice, the first thing to do? What would be the most intelligent thing for a new buyer to do?
Talk to a local lender. Have you talked to a local
Yep.
lender?
Local
If
lender.
they ask me, why should I use a local lender? I can tell them why.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the local, for me, this is, my small-minded opinion, but, it's just somebody that we can get a hold of, somebody
Yes.
that knows the area. You'd be surprised how many out-of-state lenders there are. If you go online, Lending Tree and all this different things, they're out of state, but they got a license for North Carolina. They've never been to High Point. They've never been to Greensboro. And so they don't know the area. They don't know and something might pop up is what I've found in the past. It's like,
Yes.
why is this
yes.
popping up? You should have known this. Oh, you're in Virginia. It's
Or
like,
they wait
okay.
till the day before closing to say there's an issue.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
happened to me. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say probably Stratton would probably agree. It's kind of like go to your local bank, but that may not be the best choice as well. You kind of want to get an answer from them,
Yeah.
but at the same time, definitely shop a little bit. Don't just go to one person and be like, okay, this is who's going to be doing it. If you've never done a loan, if you've never purchased a house with them, so kind of be aware that there's multiple lenders out there. There's probably, I don't know the numbers and I should. There's probably, I would say there's probably 25 or so in every city around us. Somewhere's in there, that's on the books of doing multiple loans.
yeah.
So there's plenty of choices out there.
And I'm sure we'll have some guests on here, but
Yeah.
they have, a lot of them
Yeah.
do the upfront underwriting now, which is great. For self-employed people, sometimes it's a little bit more of a challenge, to get a home loan, especially
Yes.
if they haven't been, self-employed that long, or maybe they don't show a ton of profit, outside on their taxes, things like that. But yeah, I think using a local lender, doing the upfront underwriting, somebody that has their hands on the file, somebody who
Yeah, definitely.
pays special attention, especially for self-employed folks, because sometimes those can get held up in underwriting with tax-related things. So
Yeah, I think that's good. I think it's a good point. And, I tell a lot of my buyers when they're brand new, I've got one brand new guy, this afternoon, for instance, and I kind of tell them, and sometimes they listen, be prepared. They're going to ask for probably 2 years of tax returns. Y'all see that probably.
Yeah.
2 months of
Sure.
bank statements if it's not the same, bank that you're dealing with a lender. So why not just go ahead and get that in a PDF form, get it on your phone or whatever, because guess what? They're going to ask you probably more than once. So don't let that irritate you. They might ask you today and they might ask you again because a different department, they don't communicate well sometimes, and they might ask you that again. And don't let that get you all flustered up to where you don't want to buy a house just because somebody's asking the same question twice. So be prepared, get your stuff together.
And I think they're reining it in, but if you put an application in, you'll probably have a gazillion people reach out to you with
That's true.
different lending firms and different mortgage brokers trying to get your business. They'll all have different rates, and some of them are charging a premium for those rates. Whatever the rate is today is what most of them work off of, but you can buy them down for points.
A lot of people don't realize you can buy them down. That's actually a good point. So you can actually buy your interest rate down.
It may cost you an extra $5,000 or $10,000 at closing, and sometimes they don't tell you that. So
yeah,
but they do have different fees, different origination fees, things like that you can shop around for.
Yeah, and what do y'all see about closing costs? That's one thing that I don't think the general public understands, is because the cost of these houses around us. I kind of keep my fingertips pretty close to Thomasville. Obviously, office is here. I live here. Our old, I guess about 5 to 6 years ago, average here was about a 153. That's kind of what was the staying average, and now we're probably past. Misty looks a lot more than I do. Probably past 250, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Somewhere's in the 254 range. So another $100,000. Well, what that does to closing cost, unfortunately, a lot of things are calculated, towards closing or towards the purchase price. So if it's, a 1% origination fee, and now you're all of a sudden into a market that's $100,000 more, well, now your closing cost is higher. And a lot of people don't realize that. They think, well, my brother bought a house 6 years ago and he brought $4,000. It's like, it's not going to happen. $4,000 is not going to happen now, because I already know origination fee and prepaids, as far as your taxes and insurance, are all going to be higher. And now we're not even going to get into like taxes, as far as whether revaluations and all that. That's, definitely made a difference. If somebody's house was $1,200 a year, and now all of a sudden it's $2,500 a year in taxes, that's going to affect your closing costs, because they're going to make you get probably what do y'all see, 3 to 12 months usually on prepaids as far as taxes and insurance?
They usually get a year up front, and then a 3 month to start the escrow account.
Yeah.
Same thing for insurance, a year premium and 3 months to start the
escrow. And what we're talking about for somebody new is escrow. They start an actual account. It's not at your bank. You don't get to dip into it. You don't get to put really any money in or take money out, but it's there to pay your taxes and insurance. And of course, that is for if you don't have 20% or more going down on a property. So if you have less than 20%, they're 100% going to make you, every lender is going to make you do an escrow account, and they want to pay your taxes and insurance, because taxes trumps the mortgage. If you don't pay taxes, they will take your house, unfortunately. So that's everywhere. That's not just here. What do you think your most showed, like, as far as client? Let's go buyer. How many houses have you showed, Misty, on as far as a maximum?
Okay, I only know this because the buyer told me how many houses I showed.
Oh, so they kept up with it. Okay.
Yes, because I don't keep up
now,
with
was that because they were tired of you, or no,
they could have been?
I'm just joking. Were they just tired?
Yeah, they could have been tired of me. Yeah, they're very sweet. They're very sweet. 85.
85. That's actually higher than I thought. Okay.
And it was more than 30 offers I had written. It was I think it was like a year time span. 85.
85.
And we saw all kinds of stuff. We saw floodlights indoors.
Okay. Oh,
as
wow.
an interior light.
You've seen a lot of stuff in 85 houses, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Bats
are these all pretty much this? Are these all 85 in a certain area, or are they just all over? Really?
Pretty much Thomasville.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
And yes.
So you had a stretch of time that you probably showed every house.
I did.
Pretty much.
Yeah, and this is while I was still teaching. So yeah.
Oh wow, wow! So he's doing double duty and after work hours.
But I loved going to look at houses. I mean, because I wasn't teaching.
At some point, did you think,
I shouldn't say that.
Are they gonna buy? Is this? Am I just gonna keep going?
Well, see, teaching taught me to be very patient. Because will we get a raise? No. Next year, maybe. No. And then it didn't work. It never works out. You never get. So I was very patient. So yeah, I mean, yeah.
You learn patience. Okay.
Yeah.
So 85.
Well, that's what teaching taught me. Patience.
Yeah.
Very. Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah,
I did not
and
know anybody else had really got over 50. Stratton, what is your highest, do you think?
I really don't know, but it had to be years ago before COVID.
Yeah.
Probably in the 40 range. I think as your real estate career develops, you show less and less houses.
I think you're right.
I think we're better at it, and I think we're better at kind of reeling in. Now, that being said, I did just show basically from here to Raleigh about 12 houses, but we did consolidate it, and they found one that they liked, and it worked out. But um, back during COVID, it was great. There wasn't 80 houses to show.
That's right.
yeah,
Like anywhere.
That's right.
You had like 3 and you had to pick one. But it's not like that. I mean, the inventory is up some. Buyers have more choices now, which is good.
yeah.
They have a little bit more negotiating power and leverage, which is good. So, but yeah, we're here for it. 85 or 5. But,
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
we're here
Yeah,
for
we'll,
it.
Yeah.
And,
we'll come
we
show
wanna
you
be
100 if we
sure
have to.
That's
yeah.
right.
Whoever buys is obviously they have to live there, not us. So
Yeah.
make sure they like it.
Yeah, make sure they like it and make sure it's the right one that fits, not just, what both spouses. I've seen that a lot. I'm sure y'all have too, where it's like, this is the perfect house. And then the spouse says, well, I really need my wife to see it.
Yeah.
And you've already got it pretty much sold. It's like, this is exactly what you wanted. Fenced backyard, it's got a garage, it's in the school district, it's in the right price. And then it don't have to be the wife. Then the other spouse comes and looks and just like completely shoots it down. That's kind of tough.
And it's a journey. I mean, some folks that we have, they say, hey, we want East Davidson School District and we want a 3-bed, 2-bath, and we don't want it to be over 325. Well, there's not a lot of houses that fit that.
That's
And
right.
you can go see
That's
those
harder.
houses and they know kind of exactly what they want. And then you have some folks, and I know you know this, and sometimes it's folks that are moving to the state or that haven't lived here before, and they say, well, we can live, within an hour of this location, or we can live anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And they may or may not have a preference on HOAs. And really the only guideline that they probably have is just a budget. And that can make it tough. But once you start showing those houses, you get a feel for what they like and what they don't like. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
do they
you
really want an HOA with amenities, or do they really not? And you can start to kind of hack away at all that and get that narrowed down. So,
Yeah, I think that's a good point too. It's some people will say that I want to be in, for instance, East Davidson, where we're sitting right now, East Davidson School District, and then you'll find them a house that's actually in the city limits, but in East Davidson.
mm-hmm.
So one of the spouses says, "Well, it's in the city. I don't want to pay city taxes." And it's like, well, you didn't say that at first, So a lot of stuff we have to really just kind of ask, what about this and what about this, to really kind of pre-qualify them for us, not just pre-qualify them for the loan, but pre-qualify them, just really find what they want. It's actually a little bit harder than probably the general public understands to find a property that's 2 people married usually, or a family, to hit school districts and price and
Yeah, it's hard to do sometimes.
Sometimes
I mean,
it's
it is.
with our inventory. Sometimes it's like there is nothing,
Yeah.
and sometimes that's the answer, and they don't want to hear that. They're thinking, well, I came to Hepler Realty to find a house, and you're telling me there's nothing. It's like, well, there is nothing right now. There might be something in a day or a week, or but sometimes that's the issue that we.
Or maybe there's a compromise, on a garage or
Ledford School District or whatever. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes I've seen a lot. I think almost everybody probably has given me a list, and then somebody in the family has compromised a little bit. It's like, well, they said this, but now they're okay with this one because it's got a pool or whatever.
Well, nothing's perfect ever.
Nah.
I mean, if you build your own house today, it's probably not going to be perfect. You'll have things that you would do different, and it's the same for buying a used house. I mean, you're going to want to paint your own colors. Probably there's going to be something that you don't like about it, know, and so it's just understanding that going in.
I think so. I think that's a good point. I mean, I think that's important for everybody to understand their expectations, I guess, is the real definition. Get that down. Really, I know everybody kind of knows or thinks they know what they want, but do you have the correct expectations of, I'm going to find this and it's going to be, where I can afford it on one paycheck? That's the tough stuff, as far as a real tough conversation is expectations for me anyway. It's like, oh, you want your payment under $1,200? It's like, you know, we need to look at some houses and talk to a lender like ASAP, you know, because that may not be, you know, realistic. Getting them realistic expectations, I think.
Yeah.
You know, what do you guys think? You know, as far as, let's just say somebody is listening to this that is thinking about putting their house on the market for sale. Like me and Stratton have a tightrope that we walk, because we'll talk about renting it out as far as an investment. But what do you guys, Misty, what do you think if somebody's listening that is interested in maybe seeing what you can do for them selling their house? What do you got to say to them?
There's a video on YouTube they can watch.
Okay.
I always just tell them that we will promote it, you know, on social media as well as, you know, like including YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. But we also put it on 3 multiple listing sites.
Yep, MLSs,
So
yep.
So it'll reach we'll put it on the Raleigh MLS.
Who pushed me to get Raleigh, by the way?
I think it was him.
It was
I think it was
probably me or Wendy one, or
Yeah.
both of us. I mean,
Yeah.
she's had some up there. But
So we've got Charlotte MLS. We're probably, how far away are we from Charlotte?
I think Salisbury is basically the line. Once
Yeah.
you get to Salisbury, a lot of it's in Canopy.
Yeah.
And a lot of those agents, I think, have both. You'll see them in Triad and
That is
Canopy.
true. That is true.
So
Yeah.
Salisbury's 30
mean-
minutes. You know, it's not very far.
I don't know of a agency around that is a member of those 3 MLSs, all 3 of them.
Nobody has
So-
ever, that's a good point, because nobody has ever said, oh, we are too. Nobody has. So,
Yeah.
you know, I'm sure there's somebody, but at the same time, for our area, I don't think so.
So if they list
I
with
don't think
us,
so.
they're
They're getting more.
they're getting 3 times the amount of showings they
Yeah,
would.
they're getting more eyeballs on it.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a good point. And you use a photographer, and I'm pretty sure that you're the one that gave me the photographer that you use,
Yes.
so I'm
and,
using,
you
so I'm
know,
pretty sure.
He started following me on Instagram. That's how I used to. Yeah, I
Really?
was like, oh, let me try him out. I sure did. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm
Cool.
gonna meet. I'm gonna see him tomorrow. Actually.
We'll see if we can.
Yeah.
We'll push him on maybe coming in and promoting his
Okay.
photography
All right, will
business.
do.
You know,
Okay, yeah.
that'll be something. Professional photography is one of those things that Stratton can tell you, I really took a long time to understand and to bite the bullet, so to speak, and be like, all right, we need to do professional. We need to call a photographer, because I was, you know, my mindset is I'm always trying to do everything myself, and I'm trying to get out of that. But being with the stream, I didn't do too good on that. But what do you, Stratton, what do you think on photography, as far as if somebody's listening to this that says, hey, I might want to get one of them to list my house? What can you offer somebody that's wanting to list?
Yeah. You know, I on my listings, I always do professional photos. You know, drone. We have a Matterport camera. We do 3D walkthrough tours with that.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah.
You know, we want to get as many eyes on it as possible, and we want that to be a great first impression. The things that we can't do, I think, as agents, is leave a lasting impression, which is when they actually show up to your house. You know, things that don't convey online, like smells,
That's true.
Oh, yeah.
cleanliness
That's
on the
true.
day of showing. Those are things that we don't have a ton of control over, but that you can control as the seller, especially if you're living in the home. From a seller standpoint, making sure that it's presentable, making sure that it's picked up, making sure it's clean.
Yeah. Decluttered. Yeah.
Especially if you have animals in the house, which most people do, that there's not a dirty litter box or,
Yeah.
you know,
That's great.
dog hair
Great advice.
everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, or if you have kids, you know, toys everywhere, things like that. So I think that's important, and I think that leaves a lasting impression. I mean, if I show a client 6 houses today, there's going to be one that sticks out in their mind as kind of being above the rest.
Yeah.
They're all going to be similar price points. They're all going to be similar square footage, but there's going to be
There's
one
going to
that
be one that
presents
like, I
better.
like this one better. Yeah.
And sometimes that means a coat of paint. Sometimes it doesn't. But often what it is, I think, is just being mindful of, hey, I live here every day and I live this lifestyle, but the
Yeah.
people that are looking at my house may not live this lifestyle.
That's true. That's true. I'm, you know, a big believer in trying to tell people, you know, this is what I think, you know, that you need to do. And like Stratton said, you know, a clean house. Golly, I can't I can't even describe in words, how important that is. If you've got a bunch of dogs or kids,
Yes.
kind of think of if you're putting your house on the market with anybody really, but of course we're trying to get your listing, but definitely try to get a cleaner. That's one of the things. If you live in it, just like my house right now, I've got some doors, French doors that I put up that I painted. Okay, and if you can imagine the glass in the doors, I haven't got the paint off yet. And it's been a really long time. I don't even know how long.
Don't let Nathan lie. His house is always clean. He lives with a house cleaner.
I did
Your house
marry.
is
I married a cleaner for a reason. No, I'm just kidding. I've got stuff like that I think of. It's like, my house wouldn't be on the market, wouldn't be ready to be on the market because I don't have that one piece, cleaned up, and razor bladed all the paint off the glass, So that's even my house. I just walk by it every day, It's a laundry room door, shut the door.
And sometimes you can't help it. Sometimes you're
Sometimes you
busting
can't.
at the seams, and the garage is
true.
packed full of stuff, and it just is what it is, And buyers can overlook some of that stuff. I mean, that's not a huge issue, but just putting your best foot forward, I think,
Yeah.
as far as showings go, and making it as presentable as possible. So
Yeah, presentable, clean.
Yep.
And then my second usually conversation is functions, like what doesn't work.
right,
And then a lot of times I'll have to go through, do you have any problems with this? Because that question they'll just kind of, gloss over. It's like, oh, everything works. And then you're looking around, it's like, well, that don't work. Oh yeah, that hasn't worked in a year. It's like, well, I just asked you,
things that you don't use, you may not know they don't work.
Yeah.
Like houses with crawl spaces always have something in the crawl space. They're just notorious for it.
Yes.
Always.
But
Yes.
how many sellers go in their crawl space?
Not many.
Zero
Never.
for years.
They never go in there
They-
unless they can stand up, and then it's once in a blue moon,
That's
and
right.
they're probably
That sounds
storing
like me.
stuff under there.
Yeah. You open the crawl space door and look at the standing water and sniff the radon that's coming out of the ground. And
We
it's
all
like, great.
I always try to look under the crawl space. We don't crawl to every nook and cranny,
Yeah.
obviously,
Oh,
but
yeah.
one of our questions on disclosures are dampness and moisture and all those sorts of things. And if you got a crawl space, it has moisture.
It's got moisture.
It just does.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, you can dehumidify it, you can encapsulate it, and obviously you can mitigate it that way. But a regular moisture barrier still going to probably have some moisture in there. So
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And I think a lot of people don't realize that. They think, and on the buyer side too, they think, oh, why does it smell musky in this crawl space? And the problem that we have, or the problem that I have, is that particular buyer that's saying that, it might be the second house they've ever looked at. They might have been renting and they don't know. It's like every crawl space probably going to have some type of moisture.
Yeah.
There's some exceptions, if somebody's got really heavy vapor barrier down and they've got a dehumidifier running constant 24/7. Yeah, you're probably not going to have too much, moisture in that one. But yeah, I mean, I wanted to kind of go over and introduce you guys that, to the people that do not know you as far as realtors here at Hepler Realty. And I really appreciate you guys' time today as far as introducing yourself and what you do here at Hepler Realty. And again, we've got Stratton Goins. How can they get in touch with you, Stratton?
yeah, I think obviously through the website or email, phone number 336-596-4041. You can call or text me there pretty much anytime.
That's good. That's good. And Misty, how can they get a hold of you?
Social media, Misty White Realtor. And my cell is 336-259-4209.
Misty's like our media, she's like our social media guru right now. She just don't want to admit it. She's on more than anybody else is. All right. Well, I appreciate you guys, first of all, being at Hepler Realty, staying this long. We've got a 6-year, and we've got probably a 10,
Probably.
right at 10 year. So we really appreciate you guys sticking in with Hepler Realty and sticking in with me. And
We appreciate you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I hope if anybody has any questions, definitely reach out to these two agents, and we will see you next time. Thank y'all.